Hello, my name is Daniel Contreras. Welcome. I'm here with you with another tutorial. Hopefully help someone out there sometime. This one is on automation. Now, we all know what automation is. I'll just give a brief description if you don't. Automation is just changing a parameter in your effect or in your channel strip and recording that change onto your project. For example, fading in and out a song is in itself is automation. Using reverb for only a certain portion, right, of a vocal track perhaps is a form of automation, and so on and so forth. Any kind of change that's not dealing with audio or MIDI, essentially, one might say is automation. Um, so we know how to automate in real time using Logic. Um, you just you know, put your track in either latch or touch or write mode and mess with knobs, right, and record it. But that's in real time recording automation. What I want to show you is how to use key commands to write out your automation using points on your timeline. So essentially, they work kind of like snapshots. They take snapshots of your parameter and record it and place that parameter at a certain value at a certain point in the timeline, if that makes sense. So excuse me, you want your let's say your vocal track to be not at -4, but you want it at -2 for the chorus, right? So this function allows you to do that without manually recording, your volume shift. You can plan it out. You can place a point on a timeline where the chorus starts and take a snapshot of that, of your parameter where you want it. I'm sorry, yeah, first you take a snapshot with the command and then it creates a point on your timeline of where that change happened, where you wrote that change in, and so on and so forth. So let's get into Logic and let's explore more.
Logic Pro X.
So,
Logic Pro X.
so I have my beat here.
One bar, one beat.
Play a little bit. Made this ages ago.
4 beats, 4 divisions, 97. 4.
So,
1 bar, 1 beat.
so that's the project, right? And okay, for the purposes of this tutorial, we're gonna fade in and fade out this project. But using these commands, it allows us to plan it out exactly when exactly we want the fading in and fading out to start and end and so on and so forth. So I want to create a fade in
1 bar, 1 beat.
for this project. So first let me show you what these points, how we get to this function of creating points. So this function can be found in the mix menu.
Menu bar. Edit, track, navigate, record, mix, show automation.
And it's in the create
You are
track
currently on the
automation
menu.
submenu, which is right here.
Create track automation, submenu.
Right. And it's the third one down.
Create track automation, submenu. Create one automation point each for volume,
Yes.
pen, sems, shift 1.
It says create one automation point each
You
for
are currently
volume,
on the
pan,
menu item.
and send. That's one of the functions. And then the next one is right below it.
Create 2 automation points each for volume, pen, sems, shift 2.
And it says create 2 automation points each for
You are
volume,
currently on the
pan,
menu item. To
and
choose.
send. Right, this is what we're going to use for fading in and fading out. So before moving forward, I would advise that you set these commands. If they're not already set in your commands dialog, I would set both of these functions to a command on your keyboard. It will just speed up workflow that way. I have mine set to shift 1 and shift 2. I think I did that. If I just double check, you guys, double check that you have both of those mapped to commands, to keyboard commands. Again, there are the
Create 1 automation point each for volume, pen, sems, shift 1.
and
Create 2 automation points each for volume, pen, sems, shift 2.
so we'll go over right now what that
You are
means.
currently on the
1 and
menu
2
item.
points. What is the difference?
Plus 0.0 dB, volume, slider.
So we're at the volume slider. Okay, anyway, let's go over the difference. Okay, now when you create 1 point on your timeline, you use a command to create 1 point. It places it takes a snapshot of your parameter and records that onto that point in the timeline, right? Thus the 1 point. But leading up to that parameter change, it'll either gradually come down or go up from where it used to be. It'll be a gradual change, which is what we're gonna use for the fade in, right? Now, when you create 2 points, it's a very sudden change. It's instant almost, because what it does is that it records 1 point of where the parameter used to be, right? And then it creates another point of where the parameter where the change happened. So what happens is that there's 2 points on your timeline that are in the same, let's say the same, I think the same horizontal position, right? One right on top of the other. So that's why the change happens drastically, suddenly, right? So that's what you'd use if you want to suddenly raise the volume of something or suddenly add a send, turn up the send on something. That's what you use. You use the 2 points. And this is actually what we're going to use to start. All right. I don't know why,
1 bar 1 beat.
but when you're working from the beginning of a project, it's good. Uh, you'll get results when you start with 2 points. Let me show you what I mean. So we want our track to start at 0 volume. So what we're going to do first is interact with the fader of the track,
Interact with slider.
right? And turn it all the way down.
Minus 85 point in.
Okay, now it's all the way at the bottom.
Stop interacting with slider.
Awesome. Okay, so we have no volume right now. Right, and we're at the beginning.
1 bar 1 beat 1 divi.
Yes, we're at the beginning.
Infinite dB.
Yes, okay, everything's
1 bar 1
fine.
beat 1.
Now we're going to use the shift 2 to create 2 automation points. I don't know why, but I guess it just needs to let us know that it used to be at a certain volume. Now it's not, but trust me, this is the only way that I got it to work anyway. So I hit shift 2 to create 2 automation points. Alright, now I didn't press anything else. It's good to know that once you hit either of those commands, your automation view will show up in your track's headers. And VoiceOver doesn't really play nice. I had one instance where my pan knob wasn't there anymore, and now I found out that my volume fader is not here for this project. So what I do right after you hit the shift 2 or shift 1 is I'd hit the A key, A as an apple, to make your automation disappear again. This doesn't delete any automation, right? It just removes the controls that were there when you hit shift 2 that appeared, which is your automation controls and things of that nature. So I'm hitting A, so this should bring us back to where we are.
0. Infinite dB. Volume.
Yes.
Slide.
Okay, so now I want it to fade into bar 9.
2 bars 1. 3 bars
I'm
1.
moving it
4
along the
5 bar,
timeline.
7. 8. 9 bars 1 beat 1 division 1 take.
Okay, I moved along the timeline. I'm at bar 9, and I'm gonna move my fader back to 0.
Interact with
0 dB.
minus 5.3 minus 1.3 dB minus 0. Plus 0.0
There you
dB.
go.
Stop interacting with.
Now this time I will use 1 point because I wanted to gradually get to that point. So I'm gonna hit shift 1 to use 1 point, and out of habit I'm gonna hit A afterwards just to make the automation view disappear. So I hit shift 1, I'm hitting A. Now I'm not doing anything else. I'm gonna hit a return so we can listen from the beginning and see what we get.
1 bar 1 beat 1. 4 beats for division. Eleven bars 2 beats 3
Alright, so we see there that it did exactly what we wanted it to do. Alright, now just to review, I'd use 2 automation points in the beginning of a project. I guess because there's no automation points before that, that would be my only natural assumption. My educated, blind guess would be that we need 2 points in the beginning because there's no other initial point to relate off of, right? So okay, so we got that down. Now I'm gonna show you how to do a fade out. All right, so we used these commands successfully for fade in. Now let's use them for a fade out. I'm gonna hit the slash key to go to the end of my song. I already know where it is. I think I do.
Go to position. Current.
185.
Beat mastering. Tracks. Window.
Okay, let's listen to what we have.
184 bars 4 beats for.
So I want all that to be in a big fade out. All those 8 bars. So I'm gonna go back to where I was.
191 bars. 185 bars 1 beat 1 division 1 take.
Okay. Now let's see where my fader
0
is.
plus 0.0
Right, my
dB.
fader's at
Volume
0 from the
slider.
last time. So I'm at bar
You are
185. This is where I want my fade out to start. So what I'm going to do is place 1 point here. We're already at 0. We're already at the volume desired, right? This is where the descent is going to start, the fade. So I hit shift 1. Now I'm going to hit A out of my habit, right? I don't want the automation to throw me off the automation view. So
plus 0.0 dB.
so now let's go to bar 193, which is where the end of the song
180.
is.
189 bars. 193 bars, 1 beat, 1 division, 1
And we're
kick.
going to set our fader back down to the bottom value,
Plus 0 point.
the inaudible value.
Interact.
Infinite. Okay, so got that.
Stop interacting with slide.
And we're going to take another snapshot. We're going to use 1 point, so shift 1 to create 1 point so we could gradually get to that point. I hit A, so out of my habit. Okay.
189 bars. 185 bars, 1 beat.
So let's start a
184
little
bars,
before.
100.
So what we should hear is that in 2 measures, we should start hearing the fade out, and then by the time the 8 measures pass by, it should be gone. Why? Because we placed the first point at bar 185, right, which is where I wanted the fade to start. And then so think of it like connecting the dots, right? It's connecting from that dot to bar 193, and I assume it's drawing like a straight line down to the bottom, right, down to the next snapshot of the parameter. So let's listen. We're going to hear 2 bars of normal, and then
183
yes,
bars.
we're going to hear 2 bars of normality, and then I hear a descent in the volume.
182 bars, 4 beats, 4 division. $193 bars, 4 beats, 1 division, 200.
All right, as you heard, voiceover stopped at the bar 193, exactly where the fade out ends. So basically that's how you do volume, and if you'd like another example of using pan or send, please leave a comment on the Google group or wherever you hear this tutorial. So just to review, what these 2 commands do is they create either 1 or 2 points on your timeline, and they record they snapshot, right, per se, the volume, pan, and send of your track, of the track that you're working with. And then if you create, okay, so when you create 1 point, it gradually gets there, but if you create 2 points, it creates like a terrace effect. For example, I'm not sure if I said this already, but if you have a chorus and you want your volume at 5 dB, for example, so you'd use 2 points if you wanted to just snap of your fingers, just be there. But if you want, say, from the last 4 bars of the verse, you want it to gradually get up there, right? I'd put 1 point at the beginning of those 4 bars, and then another point with your desired volume, right at the chorus. I hope this makes sense, you guys. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. Feel free to reach out to me. Thank you, and y'all have a good one.